Hi, Andrew Norton. Thanks for your response. I might not upload this response because frankly you should be deep beneath my radar, but if I do, one thing you should know before I start. I will be putting this on my Patreon. I will be getting paid for it. Over $300. Bear in mind I will get paid every time I make a video response like this. And that money will go towards making more videos. So that sort of means it's going to the men's rights movement. Mostly in the form of alcohol. I still haven't even watched your video, Andrew, but the big title appears to be A MRA Do Not Understand Why People Don't Like MRAs. Now, I'm not particularly bothered by irregular verb formations like do and does. That stuff can be tricky in any language. But what you've also done there is already misrepresented my position. In one obvious way that is plain to see, and one more underhanded way that I'm guessing you're also implying. I'm guessing because you said a MRA instead of an MRA, you meant a men's rights advocate, but you don't like the term men's rights advocate because that sounds like the category of human rights that it is. You prefer the term MRA because it sounds like some kind of secret service branch of Nazi super Jews. So in my humble submission, as the person you're representing, I would challenge you to change the title of your video to A human rights advocate does not understand why people don't like human rights. Because for that to be categorically different from the actual title of your video, you would have to conclude that men are categorically not human. Is that clear? Good, let's proceed. Is there anyone out there?
Oh, hey, by the way, you do not seem so happy. Can you tell me what's wrong?
Hi, my name's Mike. I have uploaded hours, nay days, of videos of me laughing my ass off and making other people laugh their asses off. I make music, animations, and carefully crafted rhetoric to the delight of thousands, and I work with other artists and journalists and rhetoricians, by whose brilliance I am astounded more and more every day. My personal life is quite frankly a dream come true. However, I live in a society in which men's rights are not considered human rights. And I find this a little perturbing, Andrew, who in all honesty can put their hand up and say, I am not a women's rights advocate.
Well, this guy who is against women's right to vote, it appears, who is somewhat popular here on YouTube.
Okie dokie, even if Ramsey Paul said that and you haven't showed me where he did, then that would make how many people? Very, very few people, I would imagine. Thanks, Mike. Golly, you're pretty.
What exactly are you doing with this?
I'm making you look like a dick, Andrew, because you are a dick. But I'm fluffing it up for the people.
Now you're just going nowhere. Hey, maybe you should start a new social movement. Man going nowhere, or make no.
You'll notice I'm skipping through my own video parts there. Normally that would disrupt the narrative, but luckily your last two comments have been completely interchangeable whines that any petulant schoolboy would make in any given discussion. Incidentally, it would be something tells me I've got another Coughlin here.
Well, since I am a human rights activist, and despite what other people believe, I believe that women are human. So, I guess I'm a women's rights activist, so...
Excellent point, Andrew. I would follow the same reasoning and also call myself a women's rights advocate. Now, I'm going to ask you this, slowly and calmly and without any tricks that you didn't just use now. Given that you are a human rights advocate, Andrew, are you a men's rights advocate? Or are men not human? That is a mutually exclusive dichotomy given the reasoning you just outlined. So, at this point, I can only conclude that I am talking to someone who either is a men's rights advocate and a colossal moron, or a person who does not believe men are human, in which case I have no words for you that are even borderline polite. At this point, I'm just trying to figure out which one you are, but I have my hunches where you're going to land.
What you just have to do with breathing ill? Tell me.
They both concern verbs, Andrew. I know we've already established that you're not very good with those, but I was hoping it wouldn't become this much of a problem.
You're just going to random places with this, are you?
I've listened to that sentence like 7 times, dude. I don't think it's my fault that all I'm hearing is wah, 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 wah. This is starting to get weird.
Oh, no, I don't see where you're going.
I'm positively flabbergasted by that information, Andrew. There are people who have spoken out frequently and at length against laws and court decisions that allow men and boys to be sexually assaulted and parentally enslaved and falsely imprisoned by women.
What laws are you referring to exactly?
Good question, Andrew. Why don't you listen to Kyle? He's about to advocate for men's rights.
They have a point on, like, divorce issues and stuff like that, alimony issues, so I'm with them on some issues.
See, sometimes I do this thing where I respond to the following clip rather than the previous clip. It's because I'm able to watch where the fuck I'm going, Andrew.
Because I can name a number of laws that force a woman to have a child by the state.
Can you, Andrew? Can you name laws? Because Kyle just named an entire faculty of the law. What you've pointed to is a big scary number next to the words abortion restrictions. They might all fall under the broad heading of laws, but throwing men in jail for not working hard enough is not the same as neglecting to give women free abortions when they couldn't be bothered with the free contraceptives. Decisions that even allow women to get away with attempted murder against men.
Only in cases where the husband or boyfriend have been abusive.
So when you're on the job, Andrew, and an escaped criminal woman comes up behind you and cuts your throat, I will, of course, stand over your writhing, dying body and I will spit on it. The last thing you see before you pass into the darkness will be your eyes filling up with your own blood and my phlegm because I don't like people who abuse women. Now do me a favour, Andrew, and say some extremely true things that completely fuck up everything you're trying to say.
He's a men's rights activist. He's a men's rights activist. These guys are men's rights activists. Also, these guys, but...
I think I might upload this after all, Andrew. I could not have made these points better myself. I would have been held to the coals on both sides if I said these things, even though they are kind of true. Now, if you'll take another look at this picture you're about to transition from, you'll notice they're holding signs saying phrases like UAW on strike and increased pensions.
So these guys, but him, certainly consider himself a men's rights activist for his own financial and political gains.
Yes, these men are the good guys because they're interested in their political and financial gains, but this man is interested in political and financial gains, so fuck him. I honestly didn't know we could build humans as retarded as you, Andrew. I'm going to have to watch the rest of your video before I carry on, Andrew. I don't know if there should even be a name for this. But it's a little bit like Poe's law. There are two possible explanations here, A and B. If it's A, then I can only apologize, and I will leave you to your devices. If it's B, then I can only apologize to everyone who is A. And you can understand, Mr. B, why I'm going to end the video response here, because of the overwhelming probability that you are indeed A. But in either case, if anyone out there is thinking of becoming the second person I find doing a video response to me, I'd like you to know who was the first. And what kind of person will probably be the third. And I think it's quite illustrative to take heed that these are the kinds of people who are against men's rights. Goodbye, and it's just goodbye this time.